Absolute Duelist here, coming at you with a new One Piece video. And in today's One Piece video, guys, we have for you my first place Locals Gecko Moria deck profile, which is also my 144th place regional from Wolverhampton deck profile. Now, we obviously took this to Wolverhampton, did pretty well, going 6-4. Not the best record, honestly, but we mainly only lost to, like, really obscure things, like 4 rad beams in their hand. How am I going to beat that? Am I right? We lost to Katakuri players having multiple triggers in life, having Reject and Amaru, so what we're going to do. And we lost to Yamato, playing one of the most obscure tech cards in the game, Paradise Totsuka. So we only really lost to really weird stuff and really unlucky things where it's just like, okay, so they have everything, they've got lucky, or they're playing a really obscure tech card. And also we did lose to one Sakazuki player who was really just skillful at the game, not gonna lie. But during that tournament, we did beat every Moria mirror match. We did beat a lot of Sakazuki players. We beat like over 3 Katakuri players. Like, we had a very, very good turnout and score, I think, overall in the entire event. And then obviously I took this deck to locals and I won. So it's a first place deck profile. So don't me for the title because of it is technically first place deck profile, where we played against Red Purple Laws in games, we played against Katakuri, which we won, we played against a Sakazuki, which we won, we also played against a Yamato in the finals, which we won, and we also played against Reiju. So we played against all of those, and these matches will be actually on the channel, guys, as well, so keep an eye out for that. But guys, I hope you do enjoy this deck profile. It's honestly a really, really good deck, and I really do like the ratios that I've kind of come up with for the Gecko Moria leader here, and I really do like the idea behind it, especially seeing it's kind of like Doflamingo from OP01, but instead of playing off the top of your deck, you're playing from your trash, which is just really, really cool. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and get into this deck profile now. We'll put Gecko Moria up here, and let's go ahead and have some fun. So let's show you guys the list. So starting off, we are playing for Victoria Sindri. She's just a very good card. If you're forced to go first, she is your starter that you want to see in your opening hand. Like, being able to play her, trash your top 5, and put any Thriller Bark characters in your trash, being able to put stuff like Lucci in your trash to go ahead and bring it back with the 8-drop Gecko Moria later on. Very, very good. And like, at times, like, where you don't want to do that and you have Brand New instead, she's a 2k counter, which is really good because I think I'm playing upwards of 14 2ks because I felt like 14 would be the right number. A lot of the time it was, so I'm very happy with that number. And honestly, I do like every 2k I'm playing in this deck because I feel like they will have a purpose. So yeah, we play for Sindri. She's a starter and a 2k on top of that as well, which is very, very nice. Next, we have the other starter, which is for Brand New. Brand New is just obviously very good. He searches any Navy card from the top 3 cards of your deck and then trashes 2 more. So perfect for Gecko Moria, where you get to look at the top 3. Got a Navy card, such as an event, 2k, character, add it to your hand, and then trash the other 2 cards so you can go ahead and utilize those with Gecko Moria's ability. Very, very strong, very nice, and he's one of the best black cards in the game, guys. I don't think I had to go into it. Like, being a black searcher for Navy cards, which is just the best black type in the game right now, is very obvious, right? Next, we play 2 Helmeppo. In Gecko Moria, I feel like you have to play 2. In Sakazuki, you would only play 1. But in Gecko Moria, I feel like 2 is mandatory because essentially what he does is, on play, you go ahead and decrease a character by 3 cost. So if you're playing this off the Gecko Moria 8-drop, along with a Lucci, you're going to head it and guarantee that you can go ahead and get at least 1 removal. But if you have another decrease card along with this, then you can go ahead and decrease a character on the board, decrease something for free, and then guarantee removal on that turn. So it's just a very, very good card. I feel like it's a mandatory 2 of in the deck because you are trashing so much that you really should see this card, either through trashing cards with Sindri's or Brand News, or even with Moria's effect, because he does trash the top 2 cards as well, which is just very, very strong. So it's just a very good card overall, and being decreased is very, very important. Next, for like the 4 costs we're playing, we don't play any 3 costs. For the Thriller Bark characters, we're playing the 4 Absalom, mandatory 4 of in this deck. He goes ahead and returns 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck to go ahead and KO 1 with 2 cost or less. So he's very, very strong, being able to use stuff like Ice Age, Great Eruption, like stuff like these just to decrease stuff and then kill them with Absalom is very, very good. And he gets around a lot of different things, so it's just a good body. And also the good thing about this deck is that because you're putting characters on the board every single turn, you just go ahead and get to free advantage throughout the entire game. So you just keep trashing things like this. You play it for essentially free Don majority of the time because you're bringing it back with the Gecko Moria, and then you get to KO something on top of that. It's just very, very strong overall. So we play 4 Absalom. Next we play 4 Hogback. He is your recyclability. You can add back obviously Absaloms, Stussies, Peronas, Gecko Moria 8-drop, like, he is your recyclability. You play 4 of him, and if you've got 1 in trash, you don't need the other 2, so majority of the time, if you do see more of 1 of him, then you're going to put the other ones back into the deck if you don't have anything else you want to put back into the deck. So yeah, just return 2 cards from trash to the bottom of the deck and add any Thriller Bark Pirates cards from your trash to your hand. Very, very strong, and obviously plays off the Gecko Moria. And then, personally, my favorite card in this deck is Perona, because Perona is an absolutely insane card. Essentially, what this card does is, if your opponent has 5 or more cards in hand, you can activate one of the 2 abilities on her. The first one is your opponent trashes 1 card from their hand, which is great, right? So you have the ability to go ahead and decrease, well, you have the ability to trash card from your opponent's hand. They get to choose, of course, and then you decrease their hand size. And if you're swinging with Gecko Moria on top of that, then you're swinging for like 7, because I like to go seconds to swing for 7 with this deck. So we swing for 7. They have to waste another card in their hand if they want to keep that life. Otherwise, they're trashing multiple cards to go ahead and decrease their hand size and keep that life, right? So she's just very, very strong. But on top of that, there was games where I didn't even use the ability to trash a card, because what we essentially did was we used her other ability that says give up to one of your opponent's characters neg-free cost. So if they were playing like higher cost characters and we needed to get that decrease to go ahead and ensure that we could go ahead and kill a character, we just go ahead and play Perona, either with Gecko Moria ability or from hand, to go ahead and decrease stuff by free cost, and then it essentially allows us to get over these problem cards. So this is actually absolutely insane. Very, very strong card. I really do like Perona. I think she's a very, very strong card, so I would definitely play 4 of her. Plus she's a 2k on top of that. 2k trash from hand, and also has decrease built in. No downsides for this card at all, especially seeing as she's a swing as well, a body to be able to hit your opponent's leader. Next, for the Navy cards, we're playing 2 Kuzan. I really like Kuzan. Kuzan is essentially, on play, you draw a card. When attacking, decrease opponent's character by 4 cost. So he helps us to essentially just ensure that Absalom can kill things. He allows us to go ahead and remove characters very easily, and he replaces himself in hand when we play him because he draws a card on top of that. So he's just very, very good. I wouldn't play more than 2 of him though. I feel like if we play more cards that don't have counter, it's just going to be very detrimental. And that was one of the things I was actually kind of scared of going into this deck, which is why I play quite a lot of 2Ks in the build, is because if you don't have a load of counter in hand, or you don't have the ability to stop your opponent from hitting you, then you're not going to be able to play the game. So I like cards like Kuzan, where we drop it before dawn, have the ability to replace it, and then ensure that we have cards in hand. So I feel like he's just a very, very good Navy card overall. Alright guys, next we play 4 Borsellino. I honestly don't think I need to explain Borsellino too much, because he's just such a strong card. Like, being a blocker that can't be carried by card effects and gains 1k power during your opponent's card, and has 1k counter on it, all for the cost of 4, is absolutely insane. This card single-handedly won me multiple games. Like, in majority of my Gecko Moria matchups, dropping this card was potentially just the game winner in general. Against Katakuri decks, this card was absolutely insane. Like, generally, I think this card is one of the best cards in the One Piece TCG card game, so playing it off any less than 4 to me would be just wrong. And I know some people play it free, but I just can't agree with that. I feel like Borsellino is just that strong that you need to be playing out 4, and it really did win me games at times. There was literally times as well where I literally dropped 2 of them, and my opponent just looked at me and be like, well, I guess I lose. So yeah, it really is just that strong of a card, and being something that you can swing with as well just makes it even better. But continuing on, we play 3 Rob Lucci. It's one of those cards that you're going to be playing off your Gecko Moria 8-drop to combo with Helmeppo to be able to remove 2 characters. This did happen quite a lot throughout the tournament, where we go ahead and trash this, we go ahead and then bring it back, we KO some stuff, which is very, very good, and I think the card is great, but there was also times where I played it from the hand, which felt really, really strong. So I don't know if I want to keep this at 3 forever. I feel like it could go up to 4, but I still feel kind of worried about that going above odds without counter, because obviously there will be times where you need that counter in hand, and if you have a dead Rob Lucci, well, what are you going to do with it, right? So that's kind of like why I'm debating on this card. I feel like it is really, really strong at 3 still. I wouldn't have changed it for any of the tournaments that I went into, because it is just a really, really strong card for the fact that it can remove 2 characters. We have a lot of decrease already. Like, the card is absolutely insane, and you want to be playing it off the 8-drop Moria, but I'm not too sure if 3 is the right number. I feel like 3 is currently the right number, but it could change in the future. Next, for 5 costs, we only play 2. We play 2 Sabo. I know some people play 3. I like this card at 2. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really play this a lot during the event. Majority of the times I ended up playing this was because, oh, I wanted to go ahead and siphon my hand a bit, get rid of some stuff like Rob Lucci's, or if I had got multiple Gecko Morias. I dropped the Sabo just so I could draw some cards, potentially put Thriller Bark cards in the trash or put combo pieces in trash. Like, majority of the times where this card was in my hand, it really just ended up being a 1k counter. And I know some people might think, oh, that's incorrect, you shouldn't be doing that. But honestly, I think this card is strong at 2. I don't really want to play more than 2. I like this at 2. I wouldn't play more. But it is a card that you could easily put up to 3. I know some people play 3. I know some people play less. Like, it really comes down to personal preference. But I like this card at 2. It's a very, very nice card. And being able to protect all your stuff from being able to KO definitely does come up, especially in the mirror match. Like, I think that's where this mostly shined, where I really just was like, okay, I'm going to keep this for like an end game play or like an 8-don turn play where my opponent could potentially drop the Gecko Moria. So I'll drop the Sabo just so they can't remove multiple things on my board, and then we can go ahead and smack them. Like that, I feel like that's mainly what I use this for, and I really do like it at 2. I don't think I'd play more than 2 in my personal opinion. Like, you could bump it up to 3. I know people do play 3, but I like it at 2. That's just personal preference there. That's just my personal opinion. Next, a card that you have to play at 4 for Gecko Moria. This card, guys, this card is absolutely insane. On play, choose a 2 and a 4 cost, play one of them active, one of them rested. Like, from your trash, it's insane. This card is busted. This card is free value on legs. It's a 9k character with 8 cost and gives you free advantage. Like, this is everything you could possibly want in a character to play, because it just gives you free advantage. Like, majority of the times with the Gecko Moria, you're going to be playing Helmeppo, you're going to be playing Lucci, you're going to be removing 2 characters from your opponent's board, and if you're not doing that, you're going to be playing Borsalino along with a Branu to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add a card to hand, and have a blocker on top of that. This card is great. It's perfect. I love it, and I wouldn't play less. No one should play less than 4. It's absolutely insane, and you really do want to be seeing this card. And then for the last couple of cards for 2k counters and technically cost reduction cards, we're playing 4 Suru. 2k counter decreases character by cost of 2. Very, very strong. Wouldn't play less than 4 of this card. Very, very good. 2 Tashigi. This is my own personal tech choice for the deck. I really felt like this card was just great throughout the tournament. I didn't play it very often, which is definitely telling of why it's at 2 in the deck. But when I did play it, it was insane. Like, the times when my opponent didn't kill this, the times where I was just able to drop it, rest it, decrease something by 2, then swing with Moria to kill something with Absalom was perfect. Like, having that additional decrease in the deck, I feel like was really, really important, because yes, you have Perona for decrease, but Moria doesn't really have a lot of decrease cards, and on top of that, she also has the 2k counter on her, which is very, very important. So this is the reason why I'm on 14 2ks in the deck, because I wanted to play 2 Tashigi, and I really love this card. I really wouldn't cut this card from the deck. I love 14 2Ks. I feel like it's the right number in this format because of Yamato's around. Maybe if we go future and Yamato kind of falls off a bit, I would probably play less 2Ks and I'll probably cut the Tashigis. But right now, very happy with them at 2. And then for events, we played Free Great Eruption. Now, this is my personal choice to play free. I really think free is the right number in this deck. And the reason why we're playing free is because we have 2 Tashigi, we have 4 Tsuru, we have Perona, we have a lot of decrease in the deck already, where I'm just like, yes, I did say we don't have a massive amount of decrease in the Moria deck, but we have Helmeppo, we have Tashigi, we have Suru, and it really does also come down to that fact of not having enough counter in hand. And I felt like playing this at 3 was the perfect number, and I'm gonna be honest, guys, there was not a single time where I was playing this deck throughout all of the games that I played where I would have wanted a 4th copy of this. I felt like 3 was perfect. Like, you don't need more of it, you don't need less of it. 3 is the perfect number, and I wouldn't change that. And it is a very, very good card, don't get me wrong, in the fact that draw a card, decrease something by 2, very, very nice, right? But I feel like because of it's just a decrease by 2, I would rather it be an additional Suru, I'd rather it be a Tashigi, something that could be that 2k counter to save me, whereas this in my hand is pretty much dead, or if I want to draw a card, I have to like get rid of it to then draw a random card in the deck, whereas if I would rather have the Suru in hand to just guarantee the decrease and also have that option as a 2k counter. So I felt like this card, yes, is very, very strong, but I wanted to play less of it because of the fact it doesn't have counter. And honestly, I feel like like that was the correct choice, and I don't really regret doing that. And then the last card in the deck, the best event in the deck, is 4 Ice Age. Guys, when I tell you this card is absolutely insane, this card is busted in Gecko Moria. Like, having the ability to decrease a character by 5 cost is absolutely insane. Against Katakuri, you're decreasing a 7 mon. Against any other deck, you're decreasing things down really low very easily, right? If you're against the mirror match, you're decreasing characters such as Sabo, you're decreasing stuff such as Peronas, Absaloms, stuff like this to get them in the trash. You're up against Sakazuki, you could be hitting Sabos, you could be hitting their 7-drop Borsellino, which they always seem to have against me. Like, you could go ahead and decrease 7 costs to 2, you could decrease anything below that to in range. Like, this card basically means no matter what you're playing, it will be in range for me to KO. So this card is just absolutely insane. I really do love this card at 4, and I wouldn't play less of this card. I really do think this is a 4 of in this deck, just because of the fact of decrease by 5. It's great, it's perfect, and it is a number that allows us to hit pretty much anything in the higher echelon of the game, right? So this card is insane, this card is perfect, it's a guaranteed 4 off for me. And it also has a trigger that did actually come up once during the event, which is KO to one of your opponent's 3 cost or less characters. So it's also got that added benefit as well if you do want to use that, guys. So yeah, but that is the entire deck profile, guys, for Gecko Moria. Personally, I feel like this deck is absolutely insane. The list I came up with, I was really happy with. I still am really happy with it. I like how it plays, I like how it functions. And like the ratios, I personally think are perfect. Like as I said, I wouldn't play more than 3 Great Eruptions. 2 Tashigi is perfect. Like having the additional 2 2Ks really did help in a lot of matches. Gecko Moria is always going to be that. Sabo, I like it at 2. I wouldn't play more. Rob Lucci, it's something that I could possibly see going up or down, but we'll have to see how future goes. Like probably more so down by 1 instead of going up, but we'll have to see how the future tells. Borsellino just absolutely insane. Kuzan's just a great card. Draw cards decreased by 4, perfect. And then you got all the Thriller Bark cards, Perona being the best one by having Trashing cards from hands, and then you got recyclability, your KOs, you got your decrease cost there, you got your searchers, and then you also got the 2K that can go ahead and get you any amount of advantage in the trash. So yeah, like that's my list, guys. Tell me what your thoughts are on them in the comment section below. I hope you did enjoy this video, guys, and please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more One Piece content. I'll see you guys in the next one. Absolute Duelist signing out. Later.